The scene at the front door was seared into Clyd's mind. A child hanging by a chain from the second-story window, his swollen, bloody face confronting her as she approached the manor. Hey guys, today we're taking a look at Breach of Peace by Daniel B. Greene. This is a cool book because I am a huge fan of Daniel Greene if you haven't heard of him. He is a fantastic booktuber. He's a YouTuber and he does a lot of reviews of books. He's a huge fan of The Wheel of Time, a series that I have not read. But as a YouTuber, I am a huge fan of his work, and he's one of my favorites. He's great. I'll link his channel below if you, for some reason, have not heard of him. He's fantastic. As an author, he's pretty good too. So I already kind of talked a little bit about the author. So what is this book about? And I should say before I start anything, keep everything I say with a grain of salt. I am not a well-read fantasy reader. I just really started getting into reading over the past year or so. So as far as fantasy is concerned, Daniel Greene is going up against the only two fantasy authors I've read, J.R.R. Tolkien and Brandon Sanderson. J.R.R. Tolkien, who is probably regarded as the greatest fantasy author of all time, or at least the father of fantasy, and Brandon Sanderson is considered by most the greatest modern fantasy writer. So, sorry, Daniel, you're not as good as those books. So this is the least favorite fantasy book I've read, actually. But with that being said, this is actually a really, really good book. There's no way he would be able to, especially with a first novel. So just with all that being said, let's get into it a little bit. So I already talked about Daniel Greene, the author. So what is this book about? This is the first in a three-part series. It's going to be a trilogy, I believe, of novellas. From what I understand, this is leading up to a longer series of novels that Daniel is planning on putting out eventually. So this is the first three of a prequel trilogy. Novellas, I think this is 134? Yeah, 134 pages in the paperback. I think this is the only edition, other than Kindle. I know you can listen to it on Audible. I didn't listen to it on Audible, but I've heard a lot of great things about the audio version of it too. But anyways, what is this book about? This is an interesting book. I'll be honest. So this book came in waves for me. As you heard me read in the opening intro, holy crap. That is quite a hook, Daniel. Wow. I was like, wow. I'm not going to do any spoilers or anything. I read the first sentence. I'm sorry if that spoiled anything for you, but it kind of gives you a visual of what this world is like. When I was reading this, I was getting strong 1984 vibes, George Orwell. From what I've heard other people say, it's Stephen King-like. I've never read any Stephen King, but if you like that kind of stuff, it's I keep getting off, but it's based around some detectives who are working to solve a crime. I don't want to give anything away, but anyways, started wow, and then I was kind of like, okay, and then wow. That's kind of how the book went, and then it was over. Very short. So there wasn't as much character development and stuff like that because there just isn't time, and I don't blame Daniel Greene for that at all. It's just the nature of writing a novella. World building was cool. He's just giving you little pieces of what's going to be. I'm sure the world building will grow as he releases the next 2 books, and obviously, you know, this is the prequel to this really interesting world that I don't know how much of it I want to talk about. He gives you little glimpses into it. Really interesting. That's kind of what the book is. It's like a modern fancy, it's like very Sherlock Holmes vibes, like detective story, but it's dark. It's a dark, grim world. So yeah, that's kind of what the book is about. So as far as pros and cons are concerned, I would say a pro is this is really, really easy to read. I would compare his writing style to be very Brandon Sanderson. Again, I'm of the two, he's more like Sanderson than Tolkien. But Sanderson is also known as not flowery language, just pretty straightforward, gets to the point. The prose, as many say, it's not. I don't think it's going to wow you. I personally prefer this kind of writing style where it's just easy. I don't have to get a dictionary to read a book. I like that. Maybe I'm just a really simple dude though. But I really enjoyed that. But if you like more of the, again, I haven't read it, but you know, someone like Patrick Rothfuss, Name of the Wind, whose writing style is very beautiful, lyrical. That's not Daniel Greene really. Again, it's another con might be it's so short. He can't do as much with character development, the plot, yada yada yada, because it's only 134 pages. So there's just not enough time for that stuff. Would I recommend it? Totally, yeah. This is a really solid book. I'm very impressed that this is Daniel's first crack at writing. Like, if this is the worst that he writes, I will be a lifetime reader of Daniel Greene, and I'm very excited to see his next 2. I'm sure I will read those, and unless he really bombs those, I'm going to continue reading him as he continues to put out books. I was a little skeptical because, you know, you hear a lot of YouTubers putting out books, and honestly, like most of the time, they all suck. From what I've heard, again, I haven't read any, so what do I know? But this one, it's good. It's really, really good. So I would recommend checking it out. If you're like in middle school, or you like don't like, as I read, you know, a kid, well, no one likes a kid swinging from, you know what I mean. If you don't like reading about, there we go, oh gosh. If you don't like reading about, I'm just gonna stop. It's dark, it's dark. Oh gosh, oh gosh. All right, well, that didn't end how I wanted it to, but this is a great book. Seriously, you should check it out. I highly recommend it. Looking forward to Daniel's future works. So thanks so much for watching. If you liked the video, thumbs up, hit the subscribe button and the bell notification so you don't miss any other videos with me. Comment below if you have any other book recommendations. What should I read next? I'm always looking for new stuff to read. So thanks so much for watching, and I will see you on the next video.